Well, a Tucson man's story of triumph is reaching across the country with the recent release of his memoir. John Quinn's book is titled Someone Like Me, an unlikely story of challenge and triumph over cerebral palsy. I have a copy of the book right here, and in it, he talks about how he rose to the ranks of Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy while keeping his condition a secret the entire time.
Well, I say the future's unwritten, and I'm living proof of that.
One of 8 children, John had a struggle that was all his own. Despite having cerebral palsy, John Quinn's parents didn't want him treated any different, and he wasn't.
And when I fell down, my parents didn't come running over all the time and pick me up. They wanted to see if I would get up on my own.
And he did. Growing up, he spent years in physical therapy, wearing corrective shoes and eye patches to help his alignment.
And every case is different, unique to the individual. And I'm very fortunate to have a relatively mild case.
Still, Quinn says the disconnect between his brain and his muscles makes every movement harder. But despite his so-called disadvantage, he would follow in his brother's footsteps and join the Navy.
So when I decided to join, I think my parents crossed their fingers and said good luck.
But at first, it didn't go as well as he'd hoped. He started by lying to the recruiter, hiding the fact that he had cerebral palsy.
I didn't want to be labeled as that sailor with cerebral palsy. I wanted to be judged on my ability, not my disability.
But during the initial physical, it became apparent something was off.
The duck walk, that's what everybody remembers. You know, the prior service people come in and they always, tell the applicants about the duck walk.
It was a struggle for Quinn to get into the position, and once he did, he just fell over and failed the military physical. He went home devastated but not defeated. Immediately, he started training his muscles to perform better and eventually do the duck walk.
I can't say that it gets better, but you can manage it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Manage is really the key word, I think.
Obviously, it can be possible to join the Navy, but it'd be very difficult. And this gentleman overcame quite a bit.
Endless laps around the basement of his parents' home, he molded himself into a Chief Petty Officer.
Any success that I've had in my life is due in large part to my parents, who told me that I could do anything that I wanted to as long as I worked hard and never gave up.
Well, Quinn's struggles did not end with his enlistment in the Navy. He battled depression. He became an alcoholic. He faced heartbreak. These are all things that he talks about in his book. He now works as a motivational speaker and a constant inspiration to not only those with disabilities, but to everyone who tries to keep their dream alive. Aaron?
A great story. Now here in